In this video, we are going to be talking about some of the most powerful lead generation and sales prospecting strategies you need to implement in your business, in your career today in order to generate more leads, generate more sales with your dream clients. And you want to make sure you watch this video until the end because the last strategy that we have for you is something that I personally have implemented in my business and I know it's going to work for you as well. Now, before we go ahead and get started, make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And if you want to take your sales game to the next level, make sure to check out my masterclass at saleslegacy.com. Link is also in the description, where we're going to have a free training on teaching you exactly how you can sell anything to anyone and master the skills of selling. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive right in. Now, the first tip I have for you when it comes to sales prospecting and lead generation is that you want to lead with pain. Pain is the name of the game. So if you are a prospector and it's your job to generate meetings in order to potentially have a sales pitch and close a deal, you got to find the pain. What is the pain that somebody has, and how is it that you are going to align your product and service to solve that pain? Now, some examples that I have for you that are actually happening in the modern day world, in the entire environment right now, is esports, right? Esports has heavily been subsidized by VC funding, meaning venture capitalists, people that invest money into companies in order to create a large company. And usually when they do this, they're not very profitable. So there's this whole boom of esports, all these games popping up left and right, like League of Legends has its own esports, Overwatch has its own thing, and just games after game after game, and they're all trying to win market share. The problem with these esports organizations is that they spend so much money on the teams, the coaches, the content creators, the back-end staff, everything. They are very unprofitable. And now, especially because the economy is not doing too great, people are realizing that, hey, if we keep burning money, we're just gonna go out of business. That's a really big pain in the esports industry specifically, right? So if I was somebody who was trying to sell a product or service to one of these esports organizations, I have to first recognize, hey, maybe they don't have a lot of budget right now. And if I'm selling them something, I have to basically understand that the pain is they need to become profitable, and I need to position my product or service in a way that makes them believe that they can potentially generate revenue by working with me. Maybe I have a brand and I sell a product or service like a keyboard, for example, right? I can go to a esports team and I can say, hey, look, I know you guys are not profitable. You're looking for different ways to make money. I think that if you let me borrow your branding and I put it on a keyboard, I'm able to sell thousands of these units to my audience, right? And it's going to be cool because you're an esports thing. You have a lot of fans and I have a lot of fans who have that cross promotion. So let's create a product together. I'm either going to pay them a fixed fee or I'm going to pay them a percentage of whatever I make. So essentially, to do this kind of deal, it literally costs them $0. In fact, they are making money for allowing me to use their name, and then I'm going to sell the keyboards. Now, of course, I take the risk of being confident enough that I think I can sell the keyboards, but you see, I position myself in a way where I'm solving this person's problem to make them easy to say yes, and then I'm paying them to use their logos in order to sell more keyboards, right? So that's a very strategic way, creative way to identify a problem, to work with people, but just giving you an example of identifying that pain. Now, another pain point, like for example, let's say you want to do like a hard direct sell and you're selling a service, right? Like right now I see a lot of services where they try to go to YouTubers and say, hey, you have a lot of YouTube content. Let me take your long form videos and turn it into shorts. And they'll charge like $2,000 a month for this, right? Now, if you're selling that service, which a lot of people are, so it's a little bit saturated, but if you were, what you would do is you can go to different content creators and you really drive in the pain. So if I was selling that service, I would say like, hey, look, you're really popular on YouTube. Your long form's doing great, but you can get significantly more views using shorts. Here's some other people that have done it successfully with shorts. And I really think you have the potential to do that. And if you don't do it right now, well, you're kind of going to miss out on the trend, because sometimes you ride the trend, you're going to get a lot of views really quick. And then if it becomes oversaturated, by the time you kind of want to do it, it might be too late. So that's going to be an example of just driving home the pain when you're selling a product or service. And there's different ways to do it, but it's all about what pains are you solving and the value that you create from solving those pains. That's proportionally to how you're going to get paid. So the next tip I have for you when it comes to sales prospecting is focusing on the success of your customers. Now, recently on Twitter, I saw this tweet where somebody said, like, you can spend your entire life building a great product where your customers refer the next customer and that customer refers the next customer, right? Or you can spend the rest of your life building a mediocre product and spending the rest of your life marketing that mediocre product. You see the difference there? So in the first scenario, if you have a successful product that's just so good, everyone who goes through your product and service recommends it to a friend, then you have free acquisition. Now, if you're constantly having to promote selling a bad product, you're gonna have to keep promoting it forever and you're not gonna make as much money. So I would definitely recommend, especially if you're an entrepreneur, focusing on product, focusing on a service that provides immense value where people actually tell this to their friends, where it's just so good. Maybe they don't even want to tell their friends because they want to keep that secret to themselves, right? That good of a product and service. So if you're a salesperson, maybe you don't have control over what that product is, but what you do have control over is looking for who the successful customers were, right? Maybe they used a certain software and they were able to get a really high return on investment, for example, right? Taking those success stories and communicating that to your potential prospects, whether it's an email or a cold call, because that's the simplest way to tell a story. You can say, hey, we were working with this company, and once they bought our software or our service, they were able to triple revenue. And I believe that you're in a situation where you can take advantage of that opportunity as well. And that's the best sell. You don't have to explain all these things. All you have to do is drop a name, how to help them, whether or not they think they can do it too. And that's pretty much the sale. So focus on the success of your customers, and you don't really have to do much selling from there. Okay, so that actually leads to the next point, and that is leveraging your personal network or even your referrals of customer success stories, right? So it's not enough just to have successful customers. What you also want to do is reach out to these successful customers and ask them, hey, is there anybody else that you might think would be interested in going through the same product or service that we helped you with? And they might say yes, they might say no. If they say yes, great, then you can do an email introduction, get on the phone and try to sell that person. If not, totally fine, because that person that you just talked to and they were successful, whenever a friend of theirs or a colleague of theirs comes to mind and they think that they would be a good fit for your product and service, they're going to make that connection, right? And so you always want to make sure your customers are happy and that they know that if they refer somebody to you, then it's going to help everyone out. And if you have some kind of referral program for that, whether it's like 10% or 20% of revenue, then that's going to incentivize that person to go out their way to help you out. So really focusing on your people that you helped before, it's just letting everyone know that you're offering this product and service. And then as you do good work, word of mouth will spread and people will eventually come to you. The next tip I have for you is that you're going to want to double down on what's working. So let's say you're selling a product and service and you have 2 customers under your belt that had a specific problem and they wanted to use your product or service to solve that problem. Instead of trying to, go out to different niches, you should really think like, hey, that worked for this guy, that worked for this guy. Let me try to find 20 more people who fit a similar ideal customer and reach out to them and then use their success stories and then put it into my cold email and reach out to them that way and be like, hey, you're similar to these guys. We helped on triple revenue. We think we can do it for you as well. And so doubling down on what works is sometimes significantly easier than trying something new. Of course, you always want to try new things here and there, but then if it already works, why not just keep picking up the money? It's like you already figured it out and you want to take advantage of it. And so just keep doing what already works. Go for that similar ideal customer profile until you exhaust that entire list and there's just no one else you can reach out to that fits under that ideal customer profile. You find something that works and you feel like you have a very unique advantage in that, lean into it. Chances are, if you're doing something new, let's say even in the crypto space, for example, the NFT space, which is what I'm in, then it's like you want to go ham on it because there's just no competition in these open fields. If you're in a market where it's like oversaturated and stuff like that, it's a little bit of a different story, right? But if it's working, just keep doing more of that and be the best you possibly can in your industry. Because if you think about like Michael Jordan, right? He's significantly more wealthier than whoever's number 2. I don't even know who's number 2. And so now I'm going to have a special final tip for you guys, is becoming a thought leader. I know a lot of you guys watching this, maybe you're a salesperson and maybe you don't really care about the whole social media thing, but here's the thing. I've been going really hard on YouTube. I've been going really hard on Twitter as well, especially when it comes to my advisory services in Web3, which is like crypto and NFTs. And being a thought leader helps a lot. Many of my clients actually come inbound to me because they see my content, they see what I'm posting on Twitter, they like my style of doing things, and then somehow, some way they reach out to me or they ask a friend to reach out to me, and then we get connected, and then I'm able to do business with these people. And when I sell my services, I don't even have to sell. It's kind of like they're already pre-sold because they have been watching my content for so long. A tip I have for you is that if you are a thought leader in your space, it's just going to help so much when it comes to lead generation, building your network, and all of those things. So for example, if you're a sales rep, business development rep, I'm working at an artificial intelligence company, right? And AI is like this really big topic nowadays. A lot of people want to watch content on YouTube and read what's going on in AI. So if you're just focusing on Twitter, for example, talking about what's going on in the AI space, people will actually like it, follow it, comment, and you can build your network that way. And so the people that reach out to you or they engage with you, you can actually reach out to them and see if they're interested in purchasing your products and services. If you're selling software, for example, in an AI, building a personal brand is one of the most powerful things. And because it's so difficult. And I'm not saying it's easy, guys. It's very difficult to do. It takes a lot of time and energy. And a lot of times you're going to create all this content and you wonder, does it even matter? Does anyone even read it, right? But if you're able to pull it off and you become one of the thought leaders in your space for your particular industry, those rewards are going to be immense, you know, especially if it's AI, crypto, NFTs. Doesn't really matter. If you're number one in your space, you will get the leads. That's an advanced tip for you. If you want to see me make videos about how you can actually build a following on Twitter or whatever the case is, let me know in the comments, because if you're open to it, then I'd be more than happy to make more content on that, because, you know, social selling is a real thing. It's not just about, you know, outbound lead generation. Sometimes it's about creating content, creating inbound flow, and even increasing the chances of someone responding to you when you do outbound because you have a brand. That's where the future is going, you know, moving forward. So I highly recommend it if you have the skills and the time to invest in these sort of things. And so if you learned something new today, make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, and make sure to check out my masterclass at saleslegacy.com. Link is also in the description to learn everything you need to know when it comes to B2B sales. With that said, my name is Patrick Dang, and I will see you in the next one.